180 CE, though Emperor of Rome. Here in this journey, we have access to his personal philosophical journal, and it allows us access to the inner thoughts of a practicing Stoic. BC, BCE, and CE. BCE, before the Common Era, and CE, Common Era, will be used in this book whenever you see dates. This is the accepted convention throughout most academic disciplines. If you are used to BC, AD notations, fear not. Fear not. BCE exactly replaces BC, and CE is the same as AD. Modern Stoicism. I do not bind myself to some particular one of the Stoic teachers. I too have a right to form an opinion. Seneca, on the Happy Life. Modern Stoicism focuses heavily on ethics. The ancient Stoics divided their schooling into three broad topics: physics, logic, and ethics. While there is intellectual value in reading Stoic thoughts on physics and logic, most Stoics want to get to the part that helps them thrive. The Stoic approach to living has captured our attention. In fact, a modern therapeutic practice, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, was influenced by Stoic writings. Much of its approach to emotional life and many of its practices align with Stoicism. CBT helps people think in a healthier way, but does not provide a roadmap to a flourishing life. The Stoic philosophy uses similar mental practices, but combines them with a set of values that can guide you toward your best self. It's that coupling of mental clarity with a sense of purpose that has attracted so many to Stoicism. Modern Stoicism also looks at our relationship with the universe differently. Many ancient Stoics were pious pantheists who perceived the universe as a benevolent god known as Zeus. Modern practice embraces a more secular point of view. If you are not religious, Stoicism retains all its usefulness. If you are religious and choose to adopt Stoicism, the philosophy meshes better if theology is left behind. About pantheists. People often refer to the ancient Stoics as pantheists. This is a bit anachronistic, as pantheism is a modern conception. The term itself didn't arise until 1697 CE. That said, Stoic theology does fit the pantheist definition of either believing that God is the universe, or that the universe is a manifestation of God. Most early Stoics believed that the entire universe was interconnected as one being, a single organism they called Zeus, who is synonymous with nature and reason. The Roman historian Diogenes Laertius tells us, the Stoics also say that God is an animal, immortal, rational, perfect in happiness, immune to all evil, providentially taking care of the world and of all that is in the world. But he is not of human shape. He is the creator of the universe and, as it were, the father of all things in common, and that a part of him pervades everything, which is called by different names according to its powers. In modern times, Stoic practice is more personalized than in the past. It's unlikely that you will live at a Stoic school like Epictetus' students did. This doesn't mean that you have to be lonely. There are vibrant online communities dedicated to Stoicism and a growing number of groups all over the world who meet face-to-face to discuss the philosophy. There are even conferences for practical Stoicism. If you head to modernstoicism.com, you can learn about Stoicon, a yearly gathering for both practitioners and the philosophically curious. Stoicon coincides with Stoic Week, an event dedicated to promoting human well-being through the Stoic philosophy. I aim to leave you with a solid foundation so that you can thrive on your own, but there's a growing world out there for you to participate in. Stoicism is here for anyone. It says that all human beings are family and each of us are worthy of a loving respect. Stoicism proclaims that all people are capable of living lives of wisdom. Even in ancient times, the philosophy reached a diverse range of people. As already mentioned, the Stoic teacher Epictetus began life as a slave, while the practitioner Marcus Aurelius led an empire. Stoicism has been inclusive since its origin. Although it developed in societies that were highly patriarchal, Stoic writings clearly put forth that women are moral equals who deserve to be trained in philosophy. Even so, among the old Stoics we primarily find men, often affluent ones, and they were sometimes locked into thinking of their times. Thankfully, we are not bound by Greek and Roman customs. Our modern community lives up to the best of Stoic thought and contains a diverse, vibrant, and growing population. Reflection. When you are ready to begin some undertaking, remind yourself what the nature of that undertaking is. If you are going out of the house to bathe, put before your mind what happens at a public bath. Those who splash you with water, those who jostle against you, those who vilify you and rob you. You will set about your undertaking more securely if before beginning you say to yourself, I want to take a bath, and at the same time to keep my moral purpose in harmony with nature. And do this for every undertaking, for if anything happens to hinder you in your bathing, you will be ready to say, oh well, this was not the only thing that I wanted, but I wanted also to keep my moral purpose in harmony with nature, and I will not do that if I am annoyed at what is going on. Epictetus, Enchiridion 4. Continuous Stoic practice reshapes your moral character. The fundamental focus of Stoicism involves that character, your best self. But this is wholly within your control. The next time you do anything, remind yourself, I want to do this task, and at the same time, I want to protect my harmony. Ask yourself, in the task before me, what challenges could arise? In confronting those challenges, how can I be my best self and remain in harmony with life? Why Stoicism? You have the capacity to thrive. The Stoic goal is eudaimonia, a flourishing life. With focused practice, you can cultivate a life that's serene, joyful, and enthusiastic, even in the face of great challenges. You will find yourself less angry, anxious, and lonely as your Stoic mindset makes negative emotions less likely to take root. I work as a health and safety instructor. Each morning, I drive to a different business in Oregon to train a group of people I've never met. My morning commute can range from 15 minutes to 3 hours. The groups I meet might be attentive and inquisitive, or they might be sneaking looks at their phones or obviously frustrated that they have to attend my training. On top of this, there may be personal issues in my own life that can distract me from giving my best presentation. I begin my day with a Stoic meditation that reminds me I am capable of facing any obstacle I meet. I have mental tools like the dichotomy of control, which helps me focus on those things I have the ability to change. Stoicism has given me the festival mindset, in which every crowd becomes a party, and which helps me enjoy what others may find frustrating. At night, I do an evening review, which allows me to openly evaluate myself and leads me to improve myself day by day. Soon, you will have these same tools and much more. With practice, you'll gain the flourishing life that Stoicism promises. Before we move forward, take a moment to think about how I've described the Stoic life. It's flourishing, in good flow, in harmony with nature. Right now, what do these phrases mean to you? If you were to attain the goal of living a flourishing life in harmony with nature, what would that look like? What steps could you take today to bring yourself closer to this vision? Stoicism for everyone. How you define a good flow of life is unique to you. The challenges you face in life are likely wildly different from my challenges. Thankfully, each of us can apply the tools of Stoicism for our own particular purposes. For example, I watched my wife use the philosophy during a difficult pregnancy. Doctors cautioned us throughout that time that our daughter may not survive, and that Christie's life was at risk as well. Despite an uncertain future, she focused on the present, which let her find joy in the moment. She placed her attention on her thoughts and opinions, the things she controlled, which kept her from being overwhelmed by life's anxieties. The Stoic mindset provided peace amid turmoil. Practitioners use the philosophy to show up fully in relationships, to find fulfillment in work, often in spite of that work, and to manage day-to-day struggles. I've also met Stoics who use the philosophy to manage addiction, chronic pain, or, like myself, emotional issues. Whatever challenges will come your way, Stoicism provides a means of thriving as you face them. In order to access all these benefits, you will need to look at yourself clearly, be open to exploring the unique perspective that Stoicism offers, and be willing to practice it diligently. As Musonius Rufus, a Roman Stoic teacher, said, practicing each virtue always must follow learning the lessons appropriate to it, or it is pointless for us to learn about it. Accepting this, let's take a look at the many tools at your disposal. In the moment. Take a moment to recall a situation in which you felt content or joyful. What aspects of that moment do you think most contributed to your happiness? What mindset allowed you to experience those positive emotions? How might you access that mindset in any circumstance, not just that particular moment? The toolkit. Of all the Stoic tools you will receive, the dichotomy of control is the most fundamental. Its premise: some things are in your control, and some things are outside of your control. Stoics divide every situation according to this and focus only on the former.